Hi, and welcome to the Diamond Report for Thursday, July 20th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. Let's look at a few headlines here. John McCain diagnosed with brain cancer. This is on Zero Hedge. And just as a follow-up to that, this article says McCain's brain tumor may explain bizarre behavior. Symptoms of brain tumor include confusion and aggression. Yeah, but let's not let him off the hook that easy and that fast. McCain, as far as I know, has been, I guess you'd say, aggressive and confused for a very long time. He's been sick with another disease called liberalism. He's sided with the left far more times than I can count, and he's been a Republican in name only, also known as a rhino, for quite some time. I think maybe his entire political career. So chalking it all up to the brain tumor doesn't seem quite right to me either. But at that level where he is in politics, it's really just one party, and it's the Globalist Party, not the Republican Party and the Democrats. That's just a total scam. It's really all about globalism, and he is a #1 globalist puppet. And there's no brain tumor that makes you a globalist, as far as I know. Billions of lives are at stake as China threatens India with war. Several powerful nations that could spark a global conflagration without America's input. Well, I wouldn't say that exactly. I think we're going to be involved in just about anything that happens anywhere in the whole world because we fancy ourselves the policemen of the whole globe. Antifa organizer and Berkeley school teacher arrested. A report, John McCain's brain cancer, particularly aggressive type. It has a 5-year survival rate for patients over 55 of only about 4%. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does, if he goes the big pharma route or if he goes the totally natural route. My guess is the pressure will be put on him and he'll probably go the big pharma route and he'll go with radiation or chemotherapy or surgery or something like that. And of course, if he goes the big pharma route, then yes, his survival rate would probably be about 4%, which means he won't live very long because chemotherapy tends to spread the cancer. Radiation gives you cancer, and surgery, who knows what would happen if they did brain surgery on him. But, you know, I really dislike the guy's politics. I dislike him in just about every capacity. But as a Christian, I do pray for him and hope that, that God can heal him, and not only heal him, but change his heart and help him realize the trouble that he has caused the entire world with some of his policies and things that he's supported over the years. But, you know, time will tell, and it's not me who's his judge, luckily. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But John McCain, I wish you the best. Schlichter says we must elect Senator Kid Rock. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. Elect Senator Kid Rock. Trump effect manifesting raw opposition to the establishment. That's on Town Hall. And on the Daily Caller, Trump blasts Sessions for unfair Russia recusal. Would have picked somebody else, he says. President Trump lashed out at Attorney General Jeff Sessions in an interview Wednesday. Getting Trump elected was not enough. We need 1,000 Liberty candidates to run for office all over the nation. That sounds like a good idea. The last few weeks have shown us that getting Trump elected is not enough. That's on the American Dream. Hashtag fake news. CNN's Celiza debunked by own network after latest Trump attack. The fraud news network hemorrhaging the last shreds of credibility. That's on Breitbart. Trump delivers a warning to Mueller. Opening broad investigation in family finances a violation, Trump says. That's on the Daily Caller. Crime in England and Wales at highest level in a decade. 18% increase in violent offenses in the last year. Well, I wonder if they put up a bunch of new cell towers or something, because that could increase violence. That's on the Independent. Labor joins 9/11 survivors in demanding Theresa May release suppressed Saudi Arabia terrorism report. Saudi Arabia has always denied involvement in the 2001 attacks. Yeah, but we all know they were the quarterback, basically. Them and the Bush administration and Mossad and a number of different groups were involved. Of course, the CIA. So For them to deny it certainly is denying reality. They were definitely involved. Pedophile who repeatedly raped a 6-year-old is jailed. The pedophile left his 6-year-old victim severely psychologically traumatized. That's on the Daily Mail. Toronto man builds park stairs for $550, irking the city after $65,000 estimate. The city had estimated $65,000 to $150,000 price tag for the job. Yeah, and this guy did it for $550. Abusive Saudi prince arrested by order of King Salman. Member of the Saudi royal family abused citizens verbally and physically in widely spread video that went viral. That's on the Arab News. And from The Intercept, U.S. lawmakers seek to criminally outlaw support for boycott campaign against Israel. Law would make it a felony for Americans to support international boycott against Israel. That's going to tick off a lot of people, and they'll boycott them anyway. Man shoots a mammoth 820-pound wild hog in his front yard. It took 3 shots to take him down. Wow. Austria to deploy military if Italy unleashes 200,000 migrants on the EU. Migrant crisis pushing EU to the brink of civil war. I think that was the whole idea in the first place. Not only that, but just caused the collapse of the West in general. The National Enquirer says evil Hillary Clinton framed Trump family over Russia and Donald Jr. meeting was a setup. Clinton's caught red-handed colluding with Russia, and the media ignores. The mainstream media continues to focus on Trump's non-existent Russia connections when Hillary's are out in the open. More people renting than any other point in the last 50 years. New World Order doesn't want single-family home ownership. Was the Hatch Act violated by post office Democrat collusion? Postal workers were allowed to take unpaid leave for political purposes. Sounds pretty suspicious to me. Trump's friend calls for POTUS to pardon Obama administration political prisoners. The Bundy family is still being held by the federal government. I don't know why Trump doesn't just step in and pardon those guys. ADL targets conservatives and releases hate list. Recently released list shares addresses of multiple alternative media stars. Fake Republicans campaign on repeal, then embrace Obamacare. Proof that establishment Democrats and Republicans are on the side of the globalists. And what have I been saying for weeks now? They're part of the globalist party. Who cares what label you give them? It doesn't matter. They're both the same party at that level. Now, when you're talking local politics, that's a whole different situation. But at the federal level, it's all one party. Republicans bet the House on tax reform. The GOP has to come through with a good tax reform plan. Don't hold your breath. The power to tax is the power to destroy. Totally discredited Al Gore continues to lie about climate change. Fraudster Gore still pushing junk science on the public. Well, he is full of junk science, and he is full of lies, and he's a total hypocrite. That does not mean, though, that climate change isn't happening. It is, but it's happening for different reasons than what he's saying. No one's talking about the fact that it's geoengineering that's primarily causing climate change. The difference between government-run healthcare and slavery. The Charlie Gard case in the UK is an example of government healthcare ruining lives. Why Trump and the Republicans must get on the offense. Omar Navarro for Congress. Now more than ever, the GOP needs to fight back against a major push from the left. Again, we have the whole left-right paradigm like there's really a difference. Rand Paul grateful for Trump. Quote, every day I wake up and say it could have been Hillary. That's a good point. We could be at war in the Middle East because Hillary Clinton wanted to go to war everywhere. Total proof Republicans lied about repealing Obamacare. Establishment Republicans don't care about their constituents. Globalism is in free-fall collapse. World government is in danger thanks to President Trump. Maybe. I still think he has quite a few strings attached to him. He's not the full-on globalist puppet that Bush or an Obama was. But he does have some strings for sure. I don't think globalism's in free-fall collapse. I would not go that far. I mean, after all, the Bible does say we're going to have world government. I tend to think we will. Who knows when, though? YouTube censoring Sandy Hook videos. Community guidelines steadily suppressing free speech. Well, that's what they do. Trump dismantling Obama operation to fund radical Islam. Baltimore police officer mistakenly records himself with body cam planting drugs at a crime scene. Twitter says it's punishing 10 times more users for being abusive than it was a year ago. Company claims recent efforts to curb abuse are helping. Yeah, well, how long until they block or shut down Donald J. Trump on Twitter? I think it's coming. New York City law that makes dog sitting illegal without kennel license triggers rage from pet lovers. Health Department has warned a popular pet sitting app that its users are breaking the law. Isn't that nice? Big Brother is watching, and apparently he cares who's watching your dog, too. Well, here we go again. White House security advisor says we still want to see Assad removed. Before Assad is removed, the U.S.-led coalition must fully defeat the Islamic State. Well, how can we defeat him if we're funding him, and we're training him, and we're giving him weapons? How do we beat him when we're doing all that? That's on the Daily Caller. Positive thinking could extend your lifespan. Just believing you're healthy cuts your risk of early death by 71%. It's on the Daily Mail. I think there really is something to that, for sure. I was in a near-fatal car accident back in April of 2016, and, you know, I had multiple injuries. People did not expect me to live, including the paramedics and emergency people who extracted me from my Jeep when it happened. But there was never a time when I felt sorry for myself or felt like I would never be the same again or any of that. I don't think that way. I mean, I always assumed that I would be back to 100%. I didn't know how long it would take, but again, there was never a time where I thought I wouldn't. And I think that really went a long way for me healing as quickly as I did, in addition to the prayers of friends and family and the love of the people around me. So all of that helped. Deep State broadens the Russia collusion attack to include Tillerson and ExxonMobil. Treasury fines ExxonMobil $2 million for violating Ukraine sanctions while Secretary of State Tillerson headed the company. Fake mainstream media terrified of InfoWars expansion. Mainstream media is trying to shut down their competition. Yeah, and the truth. Democrat senator questions the Justice Department on warrantless surveillance. I have long been concerned about warrantless backdoor searches for information about Americans. That's on the Hill. Diet artificial sweeteners may actually expand your waistline. Ditching all sweets is best for your health. A poor diet during childhood may increase breast cancer risk. Ditch the sodas and carbs and replace them with veggies. That's good advice. U.S. Navy chief asks Chinese counterpart for help on North Korea. The feds issued $171 million in improper payments to people with more than one social security number. That's on the Free Beacon. Voter fraud database tops 1,000 proven cases. Panicking globalists attack everyone connected to Trump. The New World Order is desperately trying to stop POTUS. Well, he was never supposed to be president. That's why. FBI turns over 7,000 documents from Weiner's laptop in Clinton-tied case. Judicial Watch expects to receive documents in 3 months. Obama's secret plan to deploy the military on Election Day would allow for stationing armed federal law enforcement agents at polling places. Here's the true definition of a recession. It's not about GDP. FTC probing allegations of Amazon's deceptive discounting. Trump declares ISIS falling fast at Pentagon briefing. Watch live. Nancy Pelosi pushes voter fraud and violence on White House steps. Trump moves forward with efforts to stop voter fraud. U.S. Congress on pace to be the least productive legislature in 164 years. That's on Zero Hedge. I'm not sure how they're defining least productive, but if it means they're passing less laws, I'm all for that. Americans' hope for the economy just plunged. Trump bump erased. That's on Zero Hedge too. We want our money. France, an incredible attack on Britain over Brexit bill. Poland to leave? Brussels forces Poles to edge with threat to punish nation for defying the EU. And EU fears UK Brexit spies. Paranoid Brussels gets Mission Impossible style scanners. That's on the Express. I'll be back. Cancer-stricken John McCain tells his closest friend in the Senate that he won't give up as politics prays for war hero after devastating diagnosis. Michigan man told to give up some of your constitutional rights in exchange for adopting grandson. That's on shtfplan.com. Trump-hating 78-year-old crazy anti-Maxine Waters gearing up for a presidential run in 2020? Oh yes, Maxine, please do. Please run. As someone who enjoys a good laugh and loves comedy, I would definitely look forward to that. Off-the-shelf DNA can be used to manufacture biological weapons. Stunned scientists discover. That's on Natural News. And from Michael Snyder, Washington, D.C. is essentially just a gigantic money machine. The nuclear option, after using Americans as pawns, Democrats blame Trump for Obamacare failure. That's on Breitbart. California, pedophile police given secret honors and promotions. Police insider Justine Damon's killer had pledged allegiance to ISIS. Trump finally stops arming terrorists in Syria. Corporate media says it's a Russian conspiracy. British royal family's support for Hitler exposed in released documents. Why is the Queen funding the Clinton crime syndicate? Wet works, eugenics, or both? That's on sgtreport.com. Huge wildfires force the evacuation of 5,000 people as the 4-day-old blaze threatens 1,500 homes across California's historic Gold Rush region. Here it is, a complete list of President Trump's major accomplishments in his first 6 months. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Jesse Waters says GOP can't drain the swamp when their own members are plugging the hole. Yeah, they don't actually want to drain the swamp. I mean, they're swamp rhinos after all. It's not just in America. Norwegian nursing homes are also over-medicating their senior citizens. That's on Natural News. Think tanks want to solve the opioid crisis with a military invasion of Mexico. And then Paul Martin here says, nope, invade the CIA. That's pretty funny. That's on activistpost.com. Shouldn't the Republicans just repeal all of Obamacare in the same manner it was forced on us? I think that's a good idea. That's on Freedom Outpost. Well, you know who you are if you're guilty. DUIE law now makes it illegal to text, smoke, and even eat while driving. What's the one word the deep state is not allowed to say? Well, I'll give you a hint. The word that follows it is always theory. Leaked Obama plan to fight Election Day meddling included martial law. That's on Zero Hedge. Government think tank admits U.S. empire is collapsing. Their solution is more war and tyranny. That's always the solution. History repeats the continuing threat to freedom and democracy. I have only been running for Congress for 2 weeks, and I am already being attacked viciously by the left. That's from Michael Snyder. And just a very brief earthquake update tonight. We're looking at earthquake 3D. And as you can see in the middle of the screen here, we've got another magnitude 6.0 quake. This one's in extreme western Turkey right here. This is Turkey over here and Greece over here. So it's just barely even in Turkey. But we see constant swarms there all the time. So I'm not really surprised that we have another larger quake in this area eventually. And you can see there's a swarm going on here. That's why there's these numbers are stacked off the top of the screen here. But anyway, that's yet another magnitude 6.0. And as I said in last night's Diamond Report, we've had 6.0 after 6.0, it seems, recently. And this is what the earthquake movement looks like. Pressure transferring from place to place across the globe over the last 48 hours. This is what we're looking at. So we've had another magnitude 6 over here at Japan. I mentioned that one last night. And let's see here. I guess that's the only 2 6s in the last 48 hours. But if we go back at all, let's take a look here. Magnitude 6s, about right there. Magnitude 6s worldwide over the last week. And that's the ones that have not been deleted. We had a couple of large quakes deleted off the earthquake feeds in the last couple weeks, but definitely not in the last week that I know of, at least. So anyways, we've got the magnitude 7.7 up here in the Aleutian Island chain of Alaska. Everything else is 6.0s. So that's our very brief earthquake update for the night. Thanks again for listening to the Diamond Report, and I will see you tomorrow.